Yeah, so the tray in the back of the collar. Oh, the other thing that's always heavy that you always need.
Some firewood.
Because any national park station you do, you can't just walk off into the bush and grab firewood. That's not allowed. Main reason for that being is that that's habitat for creatures, insects, whole raft of things. So every man and his dog that came through was nicking firewood out of the national park. All of the, you know, the fauna and stuff around the camps would all be stripped. So got to bring your own firewood, and firewood's heavy. You know, you buy it by the 15 kilo bag. You probably do maybe a whole bag a night or half a bag a night, depending on how you're doing. So you quickly burn through that. So you need a bit of capacity for that. What else have we got in the back here?
Barbecue.
Yeah, so we talked about the barbecue. Yeah, it's fishing gear. It's kind of light, but it's bulky, so it needs somewhere else to go. We've got a spare table. We've got
Guitar.
Yeah, we've got the guitar. We've got Finn's master sword. Schoolwork, and just random stuff that we're still getting rid of.
More firewood.
Yeah, and there's a whole bag of schoolwork there for the boys, but we can't really get rid of that. So Colorado, great choice. After we got the recommendation from the guys at Heatherbray, we worked the numbers with Talia's father, who's a mechanic. Worked it with my father. Worked it with a bunch of mates, and we all kept coming back to the Colorado. We even looked around at other vehicles like a Navara or a Hilux, and you either needed to pay more money than we could get for the Colorado, or they just simply didn't do it, or they'd get close. Like a Patrol would get you close, but that's 200 kilos less than you could have with the Colorado. And when you're doing a big trip, 200 kilos that's heaps. That's 200 litres of water. That's, you know, that's almost a week's worth of water. So went to Colorado, been very happy with it since. We got one with a cab on the back. This one just came with it second hand from some guys down in Sydney. We had to trade the Pathfinder towards it, which was a bit of an expensive process because we were you know, in a spot. We wanted to turn it around quickly, and we had a select scenario in that we had a Pathfinder that we needed to trade for a Colorado, and it needed to be a specific Colorado which had, you know, dual cab, you know, in good nick, 2012 or younger. Anyway, we got it all, but some of our slush fund not so slushy anymore. So one of the other things I did want to mention that really caught us off guard, that we didn't realise until we emptied everything out on the side of the road at the weighbridge in Newcastle, was the tar weight. So the tar weight for our van is around 2,300 without getting into, you know, the loose change of it all. So, and the GVM is 2,900, so it gives you a payload 600, so minus one from the other, you get it. So 600, so we're like 600, that's heaps. We have 400 kilos of gear plus 200 for 220 for, well, 200-ish for water. So we should have had plenty of room. A whole bunch of stuff that isn't included in the tar. The main one is water in the pipes. So that might be the weight as soon as you drive it off the lot. Might be, you know, your 2,300 for your Rodale 19 foot. But as soon as you've used the water system once, and we got a grey water tank, so you add another 20 for it to your tar. There's water through the pipes, there's water in the hot water system, there's residual water in each tank, and then it's also the gas in the gas bowls. By the time you put all that into account, there's 100 kilos. We didn't realise that, so when we waited a second time with everything empty on the weighbridge, we were like, what? Where is all this extra weight coming from? So the hot water system's 220, sorry, not 200, is the hot water system is 22 litres, which is 22 kilos. We've got 3 tanks, because we've got the adventure pack. So we've got the front tank, the back tank, and the pipes that run from those tanks. So water will sit in those pipes for most of it, and it'll also always have a residual amount, because unless you pick the van up on its side and shake it, all the water's never going to get out of those. And then you have to count the third tank as well, which is your, it's the grey water. So anyway, you lose 100 kilos of your payload straight up. And then the gas, and then there's a few other like just kind of things that by the time you've used it, it's the dunny. So the dunny itself is rarely 100% empty, and just stuff that you forget, like even when we emptied out on the side of the road, we forgot a cupboard, so that was some other stuff. So you lose about 150 once you've used it the first time. That reduces your payload down to 450. And then if you want to minus your water tanks out, as you say 200, that leaves you with 250, but you don't want to run your gear at 100% all the time, so maybe it'll take off at least another 50, and that leaves you at about 200 for your gear. And then you think about it, 200 kilos, that goes up pretty quick. You fill up your fridge, you got a couple of cupboards full of food and pantries. You want to have some blankets and your bedding. All of those things, they add up pretty quick. You want some toys, you chuck a bike or two on the back. You put on a bit of wood here so you can put the odd thing on. You know, you've got even things like training wheels, that's 2 kilos. A whole raft of things that means that 200 kilograms goes up pretty quick. So that's just the lessons learned, really. 600 payload isn't a 600 payload. It's really 200 to play with. So yeah, that's the lessons learned. I'm sure this has been a long movie. Probably cut this one up into 3 bits.